Hello and welcome to That's Gross, your favorite hockey podcast. How you doing? How we doing, boys? I'm here with Jake. I'm here with JB. And yeah, how you guys doing?
Doing pretty well, fellas. How we feeling? It's getting closer and closer to hockey season. Every week we get together. It's exciting. Training camp just started.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
JB, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good, boys. No complaints. I actually do have a complaint though.
Let's hear it.
Traffic. Dude, traffic is absolutely brutal.
Just
Trying
in.
to get somewhere, absolutely horrible, dude. Doesn't
And
matter the time of the day. We'll get into it in a little bit. Me and Mike ended up going to the Bruins training camp day one on the ice today. They had media and off ice stuff yesterday, but dude, trying to drive there, like I think they got on the ice at 10, was obviously trying to plan to get there a little bit earlier. And it's typically like anywhere from 35 minutes to 45 minutes of a drive. And like I'm pretty sure it took me like an hour and 10 minutes. And it's just like,
it was longer.
yeah, I mean, you're talking 9:30, even I mean, it was like 10 o'clock and I'm still just stuck in bumper to bumper. I've never seen so many cars. So
We can
that
get
was pretty brutal, but
Yeah. No, I mean, traffic is brutal and like you said, it's all day.
I'm glad you brought that up actually, because dude, I've been getting absolutely shafted as well. Like
Yeah.
on my morning commute to work, uh, it takes me like 45 minutes typically to get to work. I got pretty used to the nice summer drive where like it's not too bad because there's not as many people on the road at 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning during the summer. And once school started, dude, you get those buses and then just more the highway I have to get into. It's one of the ones with the stop sign. So I'm just stuck in a massive line to get on the highway in the morning and it's fucking brutal.
What is your commute, Jake? How long? You say 45?
It's like 45 minutes typically. Yeah.
Yeah.
and that is
Yeah.
a hike.
I mean, the
I
biggest
mean,
thing
Yeah.
we were just talking about was just like, what are these people doing? Like for us, like we have sales jobs, so we were kind of able to fit it into our schedule, we'll say, right? Where it's not 8 in the morning going to a 9 to 5, where that would make sense for traffic, but it's straight up all day. Like why? What are these people doing? Where do they come from? Why are they driving? Who are they? Are there
That's another good point. Cause like when I was working landscaping, obviously you're in a truck. Like, so if you're going cutting lawns, like the day you're gonna be driving around, like that's just what
Yeah,
you do.
yeah.
But like
With
we would be like,
17 of
what
your
the
employees.
fuck? There's so many people on the road. Like nobody fucking works. Like, what are these people doing?
Yeah. I don't get it straight up. So that's something if anyone's listening and they have any answers. I mean, I've also asked before what is traffic? Like just drive a little faster in my opinion, but I do get obviously it's just it's just so many people and it adds up over time, obviously accidents and shit, but even if just
Not
so many cars and people drive a little slower, a
Not
little
even, dude.
slower.
I can answer that for you. Most of traffic is something happening on the side of the road, like a cop pulling somebody over, or maybe even an accident that happened like a little while ago, but it's like taken care of. They're off to the side. It's people that are fucking nosy and they have to like slow down and fucking look at what's going on because they need to know what's fucking going on. And that causes a lot of fucking traffic.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a pain in the fucking ass. I'll say that. So I mean, I had to go. JB was able to see 2 hours of the sessions, and that's always something fun. If you're in the Boston area and you have a day where you can do that, obviously before the season starts. I mean, their practices are even open, so I mean anybody can do that. But um, it's a good time. But I was able to see like 25 minutes of it, but it was good. Major takeaways. I'll go first, JB, and then I'll throw it to you. One of mine was the intensity for sure. I think, Sturm definitely wanted to bring a lot of intensity and just make sure that everyone knows like they got to compete, and there's a lot of lineup spots. They were bag skating them at the end. So that was my takeaway. What do you got?
yeah, I mean, definitely agree with that. I jotted down quick pace, but definitely agree with intensity. I thought everyone was moving with a purpose and it wasn't just going through the motions. I thought that the drills were pretty solid, I think, for day one. Seemed like he wasn't making them think too much, and it was just a couple of the guys in press conferences afterwards had just mentioned um, trying to get your feet under you, right? Like this is the very beginning. They know they have a long season coming up. You have preseason games starting up this weekend. So I thought overall it was a good day one, got the guys moving. One of my takeaways more on a player standpoint, I thought Lysell, one, looked good, and I also thought Lysell looked a little bit beefier,
Mhm.
throwing his weight around a little bit more. Obviously, these groups are still split up, so you're not getting, all of them on the ice in more of what the team's going to actually look like. But I think overall it was a success, and it's going to keep getting better as they move on.
And that's what you want from him too. Like clearly, like he was supposed to be this skill guy that we thought there was a lot of upside there. It doesn't seem like it's really working out. Not that it's not there and can't come to fruition eventually, but if he wants to make the NHL, he's going to have to pick up other parts of his game that have been lacking. So I think that's huge.
100%. Yeah. I mean, we saw his speed and skill at times last year when he played, and that's great. But yeah, he's got to round out his game as
Yeah,
the
it can't be a one trick pony.
yeah. But yeah, just to wrap that point up, me and JB actually followed him to his car. We kind of were taking some pictures of him, so we did see. Looks like his shoulders a little bit more wide, so I think he's been hitting some pull downs, getting the lats going. So good on Lysell.
Yeah, how's his hog?
We didn't see his hog, but we
Oh,
tried. We tried. He just ducked out of the way.
okay. Next time, maybe.
Yeah, he got into the Audi. But yeah, so I mean he's definitely thickening up though, so you can take a guess, in your mind. But we also saw Evan Marinovsky of Bruins Beat. Shout out to Evan Marinovsky. Just said a little what's up to him, said, "Hey, love the show. Keep it up." So maybe if we do that again, we'll say, "Hey, we got a hockey show of our own if you want to jump on." And we'll get the Mare Dog on there. Jake, what do you think of that?
Sounds good, man. Would be a great collab.
You're just
Jake, you seem way too excited for that. Something
I mean,
else
hey,
too.
he's pretty big in the Bruins world. He's
they're killing it.
probably
They're killing it. I
Yeah.
mean, I listen
yeah,
at times, and um, I mean, look, we're talking about it. We're not getting paid. Those guys, they do it, so good for them.
Yeah, I
yeah.
thought
Just trying to
too,
grow here, man.
watching this, and I know it was one of the first things, Mike, that we actually like talked about pretty quickly, was the Lindholm Zadorov battle. I
Yeah,
thought Lindholm was pressing too. I mean, you had mentioned he looked a little bit lighter, I believe, or a little bit leaner, you said.
yeah,
But talk about what you want to see and what you love to see. I mean, a guy like that, those guys obviously have a history. They've played together on multiple teams, but I mean, day one, they're going at each other, and Zadorov's not an easy guy to go after, especially on a one-on-one type drill. So,
definitely. Kind of reminds me, was it last year or 2 years ago where we had went to one of these again, and Marshawn took a run at Carlo.
yep.
Like kind of in that same thing of like it sets a precedent for the rest of the guys where two guys who just signed huge deals could be complacent, but they're not, and those are the guys that have to show that to the rest of the group. So I think those are the things, we just mentioned a few, the bag skating, the fact that a couple guys look stronger coming in faster, a little more intense. Those are things that you're looking for in terms of a team that's hungry and that is trying to prove some people wrong. Because and I'm sure we can circle back. I don't want to skip over that if there's anything else you had too. I thought a bunch of guys honestly looked pretty good. I mean, Geeky, I think, had a strong summer. Um, I know Pasternak's out. Mason Laura, I didn't see too much of, but if anyone else comes up, you can mention it. But my overall point I wanted to bring to this pod is I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Bruins. I think a lot of people are short-sighted on the Bruins. And I think it's simple-mindedness. That's my opinion. And am I delusional? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, 100%. I'm not going to deny that. But
Wait, Mike, are the Bruins making the playoffs?
I think so. I do. I think the toughest thing, going back to what you're referring to, is their division, though, because their division is really good. And there are a
It's the
couple,
best division in hockey, without a doubt.
there's a couple young teams in that division who are really good. So that's going to be, if they miss, I think that's a massive factor because I think they're going to be a competitive team. They obviously have the holes that we all know they do, but um, yeah, I mean, I'm delusional, but my argument for it, I think it's simple-minded to look at just last season and project this season because we've discussed it. So many things went wrong. I think you have to be a little bit non-linear in how you look at this season coming up with everything we just talked about, like Elias Lindholm playing a huge part in that. They signed that guy to a huge contract and he was terrible. I mean, he was like replacement level, which you guys know what that means. Essentially, analytically, they could have called somebody up and they would have been as effective as him. They paid him 8 million.
Yeah.
So, yeah, jump in.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely agree with you on the delusional aspect. I think I'm kind of with you. Even listening, like I would say anyone that enjoys watching the Bruins or following the team, like I would definitely go and listen to the press conferences from today. They're all really saying that. The narrative right now is that everyone on the outside of the locker room is talking a lot, and it's really not positive talk,
Yeah,
right? This team's not going to be good. Look at what they lost at the deadline. And yeah, this isn't taking away from what they lost. I think everyone that's followed Boston knows what those guys meant to the team, both on and off the ice. But
namely
I
one,
think
really.
I think you really do look at it and they got younger, right? Which isn't an awful thing. Obviously, in some aspects, they have to go through learning curves, but I think the bottom six is still very solid. I think you've honestly been able to now identify more of how they're going to play and what their role is going to be. And obviously, on the back end, you lost Carlo,
Yeah,
but I don't know. I mean, what they brought in not having Zadorov be your number one defenseman, as long as everyone's healthy, I think that they really have built it where it's you got your goalie set up. Swayman's going to have a bounce back. You can tell that. The defensemen, I think, are going to be pretty solid. And then I think you're going to slowly work up. We've said it time and time again. Guys need to step up, whether it's a Lysell, a Fraser Minton, a Patra. Somebody needs to step up. Arvidsson's in the mix now. I thought he looked pretty solid as well. So I agree with you. I don't think, I'm not saying they're going to go out and win the President's Trophy,
I am.
but I wouldn't knock them yet. I think, if anything, them playing a more simple game this upcoming year, I think it's only going to benefit them. Shots on net, be physical.
Jake, you want to hop in?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see it. Where I'm kind of like, I mean, obviously I've been pretty vocal about what I think they're gonna do next year. And I do like see the potential for like the playoffs, like because there is like you just said, like there's a lot of pieces there. You expect one of those three prospects that you mentioned to really bloom and take a big step. But also like in the same sense, I'm thinking like for the future, and I'm like what does that do? Like, does it help us? Like, if we want to get back to winning a Stanley Cup, and I'm not saying I think they should do this at all. I'm just kind of, I don't know, just thinking out loud. Like, where do you go from there? Like, I mean, yeah, like you have Hagens, but that's like kind of it. Like,
Yeah, so you're going
like,
back to this thing about essentially having a worse record instead of making the playoffs and losing in the first round, that having a worse record, getting a higher pick would be more beneficial.
yeah, exactly. Because like we've established they're not going to win the Stanley Cup. So like, if they make the playoffs, they're probably a first round exit. But like, what does that do for us? I mean, yeah, obviously, I want to see them make the playoffs because I love watching Bruins playoff hockey. As
Yeah.
much as it pains me over the last 14 years what they've done to us, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I almost think it would be better to just for them to suck this year and fucking get a good pick, and then next year it's like the chips are back in the table.
Yeah, I mean, Mike's brought it up though, and I think I have to call back on this because I agreed with how he said it. I don't know if it was a couple pods ago or whatever, but I just don't. I think where they're at in their core, I really don't see that being a reality. And I think it goes to show just with the way they've set up this team. They've made this team in a way that's going to be difficult to play against. They're still a very heavy team. I think, if anything, they're going to be a harder team to play against than last year, especially having these guys back from injuries. So I just think that they're not set up in a way to really tank, and I don't think that that's in the Bruins room or culture.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything that they're going to lose on purpose. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
I think as a fan, from a fan's perspective, it might be better for
but
us to see them lose for a year.
yeah, and what I was kind of getting at though with calling back on Mike was that I don't really think it is better for them. I don't, because what does that window look like? All right, you go out and get McKenna. Does that solve all of your issues next year or the following year or 2 years down the road? I
Kind of
mean,
does,
I don't know
in
how
my
much faith.
opinion.
I mean, how long did it take though? And I'm not comparing. It's not apples to apples bringing like McDavid into the talk, and especially with that Edmonton team because the Bruins are already built so much better than when he came into Edmonton.
Well, and
For
because you
sure.
don't know if Gavin McKenna is going to be anywhere near McDavid.
Yeah, exactly. But
I mean, I guess kind of building off what you just said, Mike. I mean, that is where the risk comes in. At the end of the day, you're betting on an 18-year-old kid. Obviously, this kid has all the potential in the world. So I definitely see your point from there. But
Yeah,
he
but
fills the needs of what you need. Like,
okay. But I think what JB was saying there is like, okay, you suck this year. This is really where I was going to take it is if you suck this year, Jeremy Swayman had a bad year. Charlie McAvoy probably didn't have a good year.
yeah. And that's
Someone
not what we want.
like bearing injuries of those guys, then it probably means that a lot of things went bad.
Yeah.
I think that is more of where I stand, where if Jeremy Swayman has another bad year, you now have a totally different issue. Now, part of what I was bringing this all of this up for is because I personally think he's a stud, and
Yes.
I think he's going to have a great year because I think again why you can't go linear, Jesus, linearly. Is that even a word?
All right.
Linearly?
We know
let's
you. We know
run
what you
with
mean.
it.
Yeah. You can't go in that direction because last year was an anomaly. Like the whole negotiations, all of that. I think going into the season is massive for him. And I just think that's part of what's happening is a lot of people are gonna look at Swayman forgetting 2 years ago and looking at it like he had one season as the full-time goalie, and they're like, he's not the guy. And I think that's a lot of the reason why people are sleeping on this team. Like they're missing a number one center and they're missing another goal scorer. Other than the center who you might even have in James Hagens, you could get that goal scorer at the trade deadline, right? Like realistically, if James Hagens in 2 years is that guy, you could be building this team and then have him step in and acquire a winger, a scorer, and this team is, in my opinion, could be a contending team. So I think if you suck this year, bearing injuries, that I understand like Gavin McKenna would be incredible, but I just don't know how much that helps this organization. Like who else are you trading? How many more years does that mean you're probably going to step back?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. What does that timeline look like? Because the last time when we talked about it, you brought up David Pastrnak. Like, are we jeopardizing a guy like that? That if we suck now for the next 2 to 3 years, right? Yeah, you're hoping every year you get a little bit better, and this core, as long as major pieces aren't moved, you should still be all right. But like you said, if we're at that point, something went way off the tracks.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think what you brought up about going out and getting someone maybe that's already a little more established, that just seems like more of the Bruins' route and how they've done stuff. I mean, they've been in the playoffs now for so many years consecutively. Obviously, this past year we kind of ruined that, but you have to do that to rebuild the team a little bit or retool. So
It was
yeah, I agree with you.
it was huge they did do that, right? Because you wouldn't have James Hagens right now. You wouldn't have Fraser Minton. And I think that both of those guys could be legitimate players, at least one of them. The other part of it, I think, is McAvoy, which we kind of mentioned. I'm a huge believer in Charlie McAvoy. He was injured. He gave a lot, obviously this season, the most important part of the year, he wasn't there for. He's a dog. He's a guy who will, I always describe him like he's kind of like a bulldog out there. He doesn't, sometimes he's not maybe the smartest player, but he wears his heart on his sleeve. He's gonna run guys. He's got kind of everything. I think he's gonna be a massive player now. I mean, so much more leadership on him. This is his defense group. Um, and then I think the coach, like I think the coach from last year, the situation behind the bench, there was so much going on that went wrong there that I think having a new guy who's hungry as a coach to prove himself and to kind of make his mark, he clearly has respect for the Bruins, the style of play. JB, you kind of alluded to some of the things in the locker room that he's doing, what we saw on the ice. I think all of those things right there are things that people that aren't tangible necessarily that people are ignoring about this team. And frankly, I'm fine with it. But I'm predicting a lot of people are going to go into this year being like, the Bruins are a joke. Like, people will be so happy online to root against the Bruins and watch them fail. I think they're going to bounce back and have a really good year. I don't think they're going to win the cup, but I think they'll be a lot of fun to watch. So that's really all I got on that.
I did have a name to throw out there that I thought of after the fact, and it was Mate or whatever his name. I think it's Mate Blumel. I know
Yeah.
Blumel is his last name. His first name I don't really know how to pronounce, but um, he was a guy too. He was in that second group, and I thought he looked honestly pretty solid.
Hmm.
He's pretty fast. He is on the shorter side, but same thing. Then listening to his press conference, and he brought it up a few times, was just how many years, I think 2 or 3 years, he had spent with the Texas Stars, the affiliate of Dallas. And he just was saying, he's like, I've had good seasons, but the stints that I've had in the NHL just haven't been long enough, and I haven't been able to prove myself. He's looking at an opportunity like this where he can take it and run with it. He's
Mhm.
put up great numbers in the A. He's got that connection with Pavel Zacha. I guess he stayed with Zacha for a week over the summer, he had mentioned. They're both Czech, same thing, obviously, with Pasta. So you do have that chemistry. And just in my head, like I was listening to Sturm and he brought up his process of putting lines together, even for something like training camp. And he was talking about, and we've heard it before with other coaches, but he looks at lines as a pair. So he wants to pair guys up that he can move up and down the lineup. And as long as those two guys have chemistry, you can kind of move someone else with them. And
Mhm.
it is kind of fun to start like thinking about stuff like that because it seems like they might move Geeky down, right? And he might play with Lindholm, have that chemistry going. Obviously, he had it with Pasta too, but you can spread the wealth a little bit. I would be interested to see if you stick a guy like Blue Mel, he's a lefty, you put him on the left wing on a line with Pasternak and see if they can build any type of chemistry, right? That Czech chemistry that we've seen work before for the Bruins. So he's just a name I wanted to throw out there. I don't know if you guys have anything on him, but um, he is an interesting guy we have.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's a good call because Dallas as an organization has so much depth too. So for a guy like him to come to Boston, obviously there's a lot of roster competition, but he's a great candidate to make this team and probably looks up to Pasta, to Zaka. And yeah, I love that. I mean, who knows? I mean, if a lot of guys can play with Pasternak, right? It's just, is it worth putting them on a line with them, you know? So, yeah, put up a lot of points in the A. That would be an exciting one. They got a bunch of guys who I think are young and hungry, and that's a good place to be. So we'll see. Jake, you got anything else in the Bruins?
Yeah, you know what I really like about Blumel? I guess it's more so if you look at that Texas Stars team, I think they develop players very well.
Yeah.
I mean, like Logan Stankoven, perfect example. He was down there for a while, thrived, and look at how great of an NHL player he is.
Wyatt Johnston probably played there. Maybe.
Yeah, I think he did a little bit. He didn't spend too much time there, I don't think. The Maverick Bork kid, I know he was down there for a while. And then who's that really tall defenseman?
Harvey.
Bishel? No, Liam Bishel, I think his name is.
Yeah.
He's like 6'6" or something. He had a lot of success down there. So yeah, I think they do a great job developing talent. And yeah, I definitely have high hopes for him. I think there's a great chance you see him solidify a spot on this roster, honestly.
Yeah. How many guys when the Bruins were really good for years and had competitive lineups that we see guys who couldn't quite grab that like one position that was potentially open and who would then go somewhere else and could play, you know? So definitely a lot of potential. And last thing on the Bruins is kind of the other Lindholm. Um, we didn't really mention too. I think JB mentioned you saw him in the second session, but if he's fully healthy, I mean, he's an incredible defenseman too. So that's just it's just yet another person who really wasn't a factor on the team last year in a shit show of a season. So hopefully things go better. Most people who are listening are probably, especially after all of that, are probably Bruins fans. So let's all cross our fingers. But yeah. So on a personal note, I actually had something I want to talk to you guys about. So last couple weeks we've done this on Thursdays. We've recorded. Next Thursday I have a wedding that I have to go to. So we'll work something out, whatever. But after that, I'll be in Italy for 2 weeks. So I'm curious, are you two going to continue the podcast? Because I would love to listen while I'm in Italy.
I mean, I think we have to keep it going.
I think we haven't missed a week, right? So give me something to listen to. Give me some hockey talk. So, I can get through traveling a beautiful country.
Mike would be the only person to be absolutely miserable in Italy because the Bruins are starting. I can already picture that. Did just see, I don't know if you guys had seen it yet, but kind of breaking news in a sense. Anze Kopitar last season, he will be retiring at the end of the season. What a career, huh?
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, he's a beauty. It's crazy, man. Like we're all 24, 25. How many guys that we grew up as just, these guys were staples and that Kings team was so good for so long. They were my second team growing up. I wasn't a big multiple teams guy, but LA was just such a fun team to watch, because they played such a hard-nosed game and they were on the West Coast, so it wasn't really competitive of competitor of the Bruins. But yeah, what a career. Selke nominee almost every season, two-time Cup champ, 200-foot center, had the skill, and he's one of the only like pro hockey players from where was it? Latvia? Is that where he's from?
I believe so. I think he's Latvian. Might want to fact check that, but
Slovenian. So he's from Slovenia.
close enough.
Slovenia? Yeah, good call there. His teammate too, really underrated player, Adrian Kempe. He's
Gross.
he's up for a contract, I think, right? I believe so. And he's a hell of a player, kind of underrated, slept on. Hey,
Th-
you know what I saw is Michkov and Zegras in training camp, and they were like working on just one-timers and stuff.
Just Michigans.
Yeah. Yeah, and one of the things actually though was similar to that. It was Michkov had the puck and he was like facing the net straight on and he pretended like he was shooting and he did like the follow through of the shot and passed it. Like he was working on a very over the top fake shot to a pass. So those two are the skill the X Factor duos. They're pretty much Shell 25 players.
That would quite literally be Tortorella's worst nightmare.
I think he might
For
kick a
sure.
chair from underneath him if he was still coaching.
Yeah, that would have been the
Boys, I
funniest
didn't
thing.
I didn't realize I was muted, but Kopitar's from it's either Slovakia or Slovenia. It's one of the two.
Yeah, we got it. Slovenia.
Okay. Thought you
Appreciate
guys could
it.
hear me. What a pigeon.
No, we couldn't hear you, but I looked it up. And
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah.
yeah, you were muted. I thought you were doing something. But yeah, so those two are skilled up superstars over there. They'll be fun to watch, see what happens over in Philadelphia.
Speaking of last season's kind of related, did you guys see Fleury signed a 1 day contract with the Penguins to finish his career off?
I did see that.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's gonna play a game, right?
I think they said he's going to play an exhibition game.
Oh, that's way less cool, but yeah, still pretty cool, I
Well, I
guess.
think if they put him in a real game, it'd be kind of wild.
You think? I mean, he played for the Wild last season, no pun intended, but
True. I guess look, if they're trying to tank, I mean, fuck it. I guess it just means when someone announces their retirement to then throw them in an NHL game. It's kind of wild, you know. Like one more, but it would be cool. But I saw that it was an exhibition, so they'll throw him in one of those. I'm sure that'll be emotional. That guy's a legend, beauty, prankster, funny goalie, one of the more normal goalies to have
You
existed.
think?
Yeah, I do. Would you not say?
Um, I don't know. He's pretty out there.
I think he's just more of like a funny guy.
I think a lot of his stuff was all like the pranks and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't think he was too weird.
yeah, like the weird. I would more think of like Ilya Brizgalov.
Oh yeah, that guy was strange.
You know, or just like weird in the way that they don't talk. They're super quiet and introverted. That's usually what it is. Like Andrei Vasilevsky. You know what I mean? Like you know all those guys in
It's just a
Tampa.
monster.
Yeah, those guys in Tampa are all fucking going out to the club. They're getting hammered. They're living the lifestyle. And Vasilevsky's 7'12" with a
Him
mop
and
on his head.
Kucherov were just ordering bottles of vodka at the bar and finishing them.
Yeah, he looks like a palm tree, pretty much. You know, with his hair and how tall he is, and he just is just kind of like, hey, I bet he's on the weather app when the bottle girls come out in the club. But all right. Some other things about or sorry, around the league. We talked about Kaprizov last week. I definitely think that's a interesting story to watch. The NHL has a couple really big storylines this season. I mean, obviously McDavid, now you have Kaprizov, you even have Eichel. I think
Did
even
you
Crosby's a consideration. I think the odds are he's probably not going to get moved, but
did
uh,
you see his presser today?
oh, who?
Kaprizov.
I didn't see it. I saw he, broke in English. He just was like, "Stop asking me. I want to focus." Right.
Yeah. Wanted to talk about that though, because I mean, like you said, can barely understand the guy, but because I listened to the McDavid 32 Thoughts episode today. I don't know if you guys really listened to that, but it's pretty good stuff. They
Saw a
probably
clip.
the most like real hockey podcasts out there, I'd say.
For
But
sure.
a lot of them say like, I just want to focus on the season. I'm not thinking about it. And like, that's just like such a lie. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like I don't want to talk about it. Like that's like
Yeah.
universal for like,
Is
buddy,
that why-
you just declined the richest contract in NHL history. You're not worried about it. What do you mean? If you weren't worried about it, you would have just signed the fucking contract.
Well, he's definitely not worried about it because he just got offered the biggest
So
contract ever. So he has nothing to
we're
worry
not
about.
thinking about it, I should
Yeah.
say.
No, I know exactly what you're saying. You're right. I mean, I think
Mike's still gonna pigeon toss you, but
Yeah.
I'm a big
he
words guy.
knows what you're
Sorry.
saying.
I wasn't trying to put you down there, Jake. But I think going off of like what you said about McDavid too, I think McDavid was kind of direct, which is surprising. I think he openly said that people think they know what's going on, but he's and they'll say everything and anything under the sun that and make things up. But he pretty much just said that, he wants to see the team do something and he might not sign. Like he openly said that. He's like, I'm not gonna, everyone thinks it's just gonna happen. But, he told the team he wants a reason, which
It's
I
almost
think,
like an entitlement. It's like like
yeah, I
the
think
Oilers, like
that's
he owes something to the Oilers, and it's like it's not. Like I heard him mention that this is one of the biggest moments of his and his family's life. It's a huge contract opportunity, and he's a guy like numbers talk, right? Like he's carried this team for so many years, and it's like I agree with him. I think if you don't see things starting to move or pieces starting to fall into the right places and you don't know what's happening behind closed doors either. Like what are the conversations like? So I honestly agree with them. I think kind of let the dust settle a little bit, see how everything plays out and make a decision. But I don't know. I just find it hard to believe that he would leave with the whole Drysdale thing where he re-signed. I don't know. I just find that hard to
I do
believe.
too. I do too. But think about like, do you guys remember Shirelli as a Bruins general manager? And there was a couple years, obviously he was reigning when they won the cup, but like where people were like, get this guy the fuck out. And then he went to Edmonton.
Yep.
Made a sick trade.
Yeah. my thing is like, okay, a lot of people are out there as a fan and they're like, this general manager is an idiot and he's making bad decisions and I'm predicting them and I'm a fucking normal person who has a regular job or whatever. And I'm just thinking from a player's perspective as like you just said, he's this is his whole life. This guy wants to win a cup more than anything. It's not about money. Obviously, he should be one of the higher paid players. Well, he should be the highest, but I don't even think he cares about that. But he wants to win. And he's brought his team as far as he can go 2 years in a row and gotten beaten because the other team had a better managed team. Obviously, the state tax is a factor, but that team, the culture, everything top down from Bill Zito to the bottom level employees, the players, it's a better organization. And I think if, like you just said, there shouldn't be any entitlement for who is it, Stan Bowman, some goofball, bald dude with glasses, just sitting up there like, come on, McDavid, please resign. We'll give you whatever. It's like, dude, what are you gonna do to make us win the cup? Do you have a game plan?
Yeah, fair. Very fair.
Maybe Zito will figure out a way to fit him into the Panthers run. Move some money around.
Imagine, dude.
I mean, I think McDavid's the kind of guy who wouldn't do that.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not a Kevin Durant guy.
No, but I obviously know you're just joking around. But yeah, it'll be super interesting to follow all that for sure. I think Crosby. I mean, what my opinion, and I know this is so fictional, really at this point. I don't really know what Crosby said about it, but I mean, I want to see him leave and go to a team that could compete so badly. I don't care if it's not the Bruins, but I do think he would be such a good fucking fit in Boston. I mean, boys, would he not make the most sense? So here's what I have for you. I'm curious if you're looking at a trade because we've talked about Eichel and, when players have half a year left in their contract, and there's also the factor of like Crosby, the team's trying to give him to a good position. So there's a lot of things that go into this. But if you're the Bruins, are you trading, let's say, James Hagens and two first round picks for Sidney Crosby if he said, I'm going to play for you for the next 3 seasons? Are you going to?
Not a chance.
No.
I think I would say no too.
Well, okay, then let me adjust that. Like, is there an answer that you would, including Hagens?
No,
So, okay, so you believe in Hagens then for sure.
I do. He's your prospect of the future. Yeah, we've invested a lot in him.
I mean, you also want McKenna pretty big time, you know? That
I
makes me think
do.
that you think
Kid
Hagens
doesn't
might
know what
not.
he wants.
Oh,
You
I
think
want both of them.
I mean, of course, I get that too. But okay, so there's no deal involving Hagens that you guys would take for Sidney Crosby. JB, you either?
So
We're talking about
depreciating
I
Sidney.
don't know.
asset.
It's just I think it's just a very and obviously it was meant to be a difficult question, but I think it's difficult in the sense of like we have no idea what we're about to roll out this season. That it's just hard. Like, is Sidney Crosby the missing piece, and then everything else falls into place?
Yeah, I
I
get.
almost want to see a little bit more out of this team and see where we actually are. But also, my biggest thing with signing a guy like that that's on definitely the back nine of his career is 3 years isn't horrible, but I just don't love like you almost look at that, and I know the AAVs obviously would be different, but you look at like Marchand signing him for 6 years. Like
Yeah,
I'm happy the Bruins didn't go down that road, and it seems like that was the main issue was the term, signing him to such a longer deal than we were going to do.
yeah,
So 3 years, obviously, you're kind of in that mix. I mean, I think if this team rolls out and defensively they're sound, Swayman comes out and he's absolutely kicking. Lindholm has a little bit of a bounce back where he can play a second or third line role and he can play very well. And you really the glaring issue is a 1C and that's it. I'll do it. I'm for it because at that point we're just contradicting what we said at the beginning of the pod, right? Like what does this window look like for a guy like Pasta, McAvoy, Swayman's obviously younger, but Lindholm, right? Hampus. I just think if we're in a position where it makes sense that it's only the 1C we're missing, I think you go for it.
Hmm.
Yeah, like it's like cup or bust, like kind of like similar to 2023, and we saw that didn't work, unfortunately. You go out and get Crosby, you trade Hagen, and you said 2 first round picks. Like
Well,
that's a
even if
lot.
we just say like a second in Hagens or something, like
Okay.
I'm trying to find
Still,
a
you're
place
giving up your most valuable asset aside from pasta.
for sure. Yeah, I guess the concept, and JB made up or brought up a really good point. Let's say hypothetically this team that everything we just discussed previously is true, and that the only thing they're really missing is a 1C and say like a second line winger who puts the puck in the net. And then you're saying this team legitimately is a strong playoff team. At that point, the concept of the trade is a guy who's young and who you don't know what you're going to get and hasn't played and is still a few years away from really being impactful for Sidney Crosby, granted on the back nine of his career.
But
So
then it faces the question too, right? Like, what does it look like to start throwing around the name Jack Eichel?
yeah, for
What
sure.
needs to be done for that? Because I think if you're in that situation, same thing. The biggest glaring issue is a 1C. You don't have it. Yes, you do have some youth in the pipeline that's coming up, and we'll see how the Bruins can develop it. But I think if you have any opportunity to go out and get a guy like Jack Eichel, he's a lot younger, right? He's proven to be a 1C, and he's in that age group with this core that we just constantly keep talking about. I think that's like the identity and the player you try to go out and get.
Hmm.
If we're having those conversations, it's like you're going to go out and get Crosby. Are you putting too much on Crosby at that point, right? In
Yeah.
comparison to a guy like Eichel, he's younger. I mean, he has ties obviously to the Boston area.
Hmm.
He's the one I'm very intrigued about.
Yeah.
I want to see
Agreed.
how that.
It's valid.
Also, he's not 37,
But
Yeah.
it's going to be
still in
difficult
his
too because
prime.
the it's going to depend on where the Bruins are at and what they look like, right? Because like if he gets moved, he would be a deadline move, right?
Yeah, but it
Be up.
also obviously the biggest thing with Eichel is we don't know if he's committing to more 10 to 8 more years in Vegas, you know. So I guess this one is more of like I just took Crosby because I see that team not competing for the rest of his career, and it would really suck to see him just because he's still such a good player right now. And if you have a team that can play around him and you just need him to play on a first line or maybe a second line would be better, but with elite players, I mean, we know Sidney Crosby is gonna be able to produce, but that's why it's a hypothetical. It was tough. I think we'll clip that. I'm interested to see what people think. I think it's definitely gonna be divisive, but
My question is, where is Bergeron?
we should do.
Right?
Isn't what is that thing? Isn't there like a movement that's like where is there's something like that. The whole world is asking, where is
I'm blanking also.
Yeah, I don't know.
anyway, we'll make a meme with Bergeron. But yeah, I agree. Where the fuck is he? Someone find his address. So would you guys do that for Eichel? Would you do James Hagens and 2 firsts for Jack Eichel?
That's still so much.
What about James Hagens, a first, and Lysell?
Still, that's still a lot. Like that's a haul.
It's Jack Eichel.
Yeah, I would.
No.
It's probably the more realistic trade concept because, like you said, the Bruins aren't really in a spot to go all in for a guy who's 37, but a guy who like Eichel's more in a position to be like, all right, we'll trade a young player for a guy who's still in the prime. I mean, he would match up perfectly with Pasta. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, Sweeney's been able to also find guys that are kind of in that middle ground. I mean, if no one else is moving, I think by committee this team could do it, right? You look at a guy Pavel Zaka, Casey Middlestat. Still, it's the unknown. We don't know how this season's going to play out, but I think if you go out and you get a big name like Jack Eichel that can really drive play and drive the offense, I think these other guys will follow. They just can't. You can't stick Pavel Zaka in a 1C spot. You can't
No.
put Casey Middlestat there. You know you can't put Elias Lindholm. So
Yeah. And I wonder if, honestly, a team like San Jose, Anaheim, these teams do have to struggle for years and years. Obviously, the Bruins have some serious core pieces right now. We already talked Pastrnak, McAvoy, Swayman. It's also a massive market. I don't think that they're gonna struggle for as long as people think. Almost think they might be bound for a little bit of a bounce their way, where who knows? Who knows if it's Eichel? I'm not trying to make a bold ass prediction like that. Not that it would matter if I did, but I mean, it's not the craziest thing in the world to say a guy of his caliber could look at the Bruins team, especially after half of this season goes by, and say that they actually have a really good showing, and it's clear that they just need a little bit more superpower up front. Where a guy like, say, Eichel, hypothetically, looks at David Pastrnak, because like who doesn't want to play with that guy? I mean, he seems like such a beauty off the ice. He's an incredible player. You have a solid defense behind him. It seems like they filled out the depth on offense. If Swayman bounces back, you have an elite goalie that a lot of these teams, like fucking Oilers, back to back losers in the final, they don't even have a goalie that they're really confident in. So who knows if something like that happens where they get a bit of a bounce goes their way. And, the Kachuk, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, one of you two made that comparison. So, yeah, I think that will wrap that part of it up. I know we're gonna call this here soon. Jake, you got to leave in a minute. I mean, we don't have much to talk about anyway, right? Jake, you have a minute? I got one other thing for you.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay, so maybe two, but we'll see how long it goes. Just let me know. Obviously, you're good whenever, but
You're good. I got to leave at 8. You got 7 minutes.
okay, so JB and I had talked about this a few days ago, randomly. It just came up in the course of conversation. Actually, we were going to record on Tuesday, and we ended up not, but we discussed Paul Bissonnette. So I wanted to ask, and I couldn't really think of the player, but to throw it out, would you rather have the career and the life of Paul Bissonnette or a player of a caliber like Claude Giroux or maybe Anze Kopitar or someone like that? And I'm talking full career. So I'm talking your hockey career, but then your post career is obviously included in that.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, actually. It's a good question. Um, I mean, it seems like it would be an easy answer to say like Claude Giroux or Kopitar or whatever,
Mm.
whatever. But like also, you get to play in the NHL, and then obviously Spit and Chicklets is wildly successful, and Biz is living the life right now. Like I can't think of anybody post hockey that has like it better than he does. Um,
And he's just growing the game so
yeah,
well. He's able to be himself and he's funny. He's always been that, glue guy, locker room guy.
yeah. I mean, I'm kind of stumped on this one.
But
I don't know.
here's what I'll
Can
say.
I hear what you guys
Well, yeah,
answer
of course. But let
first?
me just fill the air real quick and then I'll let JB jump in. But I'm almost curious because those are just two random names I threw out. I'm almost curious how good of a player or who the player would have to be to make you say the player and where the line is.
I don't even know. I don't think there really is one. I think it's kind of just like if you say McDavid or like Crosby, it's like okay, probably that one because like those guys can do whatever the fuck they want after hockey career. There's so
Yeah.
many open windows for them.
So that's the line then. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know because fucking Giroux and Kopitar, they're fucking nasty. I mean, Kopitar's a Hall of Famer, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, the career of those guys, like think about every day. You're in LA, you're making 10 sheets, you're back, you won two Stanley Cups. You go fucking to the rink, you're pretty low key, you're in good shape, your wife's a 12 out of 10. You're driving a fucking Lamborghini. You got no worries in the world, probably. I don't know. Maybe he's got a tough life. But JB, what are your thoughts?
yeah, I mean, I think with the Kopitar situation, whole picture, looking at the entire life, I think I'd go Biz. Just to put the bid out there. But I mean, the guy, you said it. He's grown the game so much. He's really been the only person to shine a light into those guys in the locker room that no matter what level you play at, there's always guys like that a part of the game or in the locker room that are the glue guys that make it fun, make it that you can get through a Monday, Tuesday practice, whatever it is. And he really just showed, I think, more of the world, like what hockey players are truly about. A lot of them, most of them are good guys and they're funny and they love the game that they've played their entire life. Outside of that, Jake said it. I mean, the guy, he's living an unbelievable life. You know, he has a national contract with TNT. That's insane. He's at the biggest games that hockey has to offer. And Spin Chicklets is obviously can speak for itself. So I think overall, like the life aspect, I think Biz's would be sick. But also, I'm not a guy that played in the NHL at all, right? So that's where it gets tough.
All right, I got an answer for you guys.
Okay.
I'm gonna go the route of like Kopitar, Giroux, simply because this is the deciding factor. Biz's career was definitely a lot of ups and downs. I guess you'd say more downs, but um, like he was grinding for 15 years, like up and down from the minors, healthy scratch a lot of times. So I guess that would be the deciding factor where like if you're a guy like Kopitar's shoes, obviously you win the Stanley Cups, the Selkies, but you're also kind of your work life balance is like very solid
Mhm.
where you could settle down, get married, do
Safe,
whatever the hell you want, and you're in LA for your entire career. It's not
safety. I see what
yeah.
This guy always goes the safe route.
you're he's
He
getting
doesn't
out
get
of
the
bed
bit. He
when he
doesn't get the
shits.
clip.
All right,
Yeah.
well,
Well,
I'm trying
no,
to clip something here, dude.
no. Jake, you're fine. But here's what I will say for my answer. This is I think I in my own life would be more like Bissonnette because I could see myself barely making it, struggling, and then coming out and being like, "Oh shit, I can make dick jokes on Twitter," and then all of a sudden, who knows what comes from it. The interesting part is the Kopitar life because it seems so far away from anything that I can relate to that I think I would take that. But I mean, I'm a huge fan of Biz, and I mean it's a tough answer to a tough question. So yeah, we'll definitely clip that out. That will go, and hopefully it'll go as viral as that other one, Jake. The Joe Thornton, Pat
yeah,
Murray. That one did really well. So I
for sure.
think that's a good one. All right, do you have a minute, or you gotta go?
Hit me.
Okay. This is a personal question. I just wanted to end it on something about each of you, and it's just a kind of a random question just came to me um the other day.
Dude, it's not that small, I swear.
How big is your how big is your cornhole actually? How hairy is your cornhole? Now, what is the biggest thing you've overcome in your life or leap you've taken, the most exciting thing that you've ever done in your life? It's a deeper one. You probably weren't expecting that.
Jeez, dude.
Well, I'll go first, okay? I'll say I was wanted to do open mic stand-up night for so long, and I had a fear of doing it for sure, and I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Ran into opportunities where like one time I actually I was at an Uno's and there was a sign. I was doing Uber Eats as I was in a lower place in my life for sure, but there was a sign that said uh open mic night. The date of that day that it was and it was 7 p.m. I look at my phone, it's 7 p.m. exactly. It was right then. And I fucking just was like, yeah, no, I'm dipping. So anyway, I've done it once, and that was a big leap. I don't think it's a huge leap, but for me, that was pretty big. So that was the first thing that came to mind for me.
Wait,
Either
so you did it that night or no?
no, I didn't do it that night, but I eventually did.
Okay. How'd it go?
Oh, it went okay. I mean, it was like 3, 4 minutes, it wasn't that big of a deal. But for me personally, it was definitely a moment where I was like, okay, wasn't that big of a deal. You know,
I would pay to see that, honestly. What jokes did you tell? What'd
it
you talk
wasn't
about?
great.
Jake, answer the question, dude.
I mean,
I'm pretty intrigued with Mike
okay.
doing stand up here.
So one of them was a joke about being behind butts in the gym because you're always stuck behind ass. And it was kind of complaining about how much ass there is in the gym. Obviously, I like it, but it's kind of distracting. And it's like how are you supposed to really work out in that environment? It
Sure.
wasn't really super funny, just to be clear. I mean, that's why I'm not making money doing it.
All
But
the women stood
A
up
good
and
topic,
laughed.
honestly.
there was fuck, it was a while ago. It was like a year ago. There was a hockey one. I was relating the rivalries in hockey, like Bruins and Canadians, to black people in the police.
Oh my God.
I was like, for anyone who doesn't know,
There,
the
there it is, JB. I knew there was going to be a wild one out there.
Bruins and Canadians is like if you're not, familiar, it's kind of like the rivalry of black people and cops. It's been there forever, and it's deep
Who's who?
rooted. Huh?
Who's
Uh,
who?
Depends what side you're on. Depends where you're from. Um, and I forget really what the other one was. It'll come to me, but I know you
Oh
got a
no,
main
that's
pick.
all I needed. You're good. You're off the hook, man.
All right, cool.
Um, I guess the biggest thing I've overcome, I mean, was probably the death of my aunt. Um, she passed away very young. She was 47, and she was like a second mother to me. Her son, my cousin, is literally my best friend. We're a month apart, so we spent most of our childhood together. We're still very close as well. So yeah, that hit me very hard, and it was definitely tough for a year. I mean, it's still tough, but you grow and you get used to it. But yeah, definitely I would say that for sure.
It's beautiful. Well, every day it's easier, right?
Yeah.
JB, you got something?
I mean, that's a tough spot to put me in, boys. That's a tough one to follow.
Just had to throw that to you. I didn't.
Yeah. Behind the back, between the legs. Here you go, JB. Run with it. Don't get hit. Don't fumble the ball. Um,
Lateral pass.
yeah, I mean, I don't.
Come on, you got
Yeah, I
something.
mean, honestly, probably my knee, I guess, is something I've talked about for a lot of years, and finally got to the point that I pulled the rug out of it and decided to get my knee done. So, had knee surgery, took away things that I love, but only for the meantime. So, hopefully, I'll be back soon. And yeah, man, I've said it before on this, like it humbles you and it puts things into perspective, and you spend a lot more time with yourself and your thoughts and kind of just you as a person. So I think it definitely the biggest thing, it just puts things in perspective. I think all of us every single day, I mean, whether you lose a family member or any hardship you go through, I mean, you just figure out that the days that you've complained about previously really weren't that bad, and a lot of people have it a lot worse. So I think really just gratitude. Be grateful for what you have. Big thing was the friends that I had in my life. Everyone was super good checking in and making sure that if I needed something, they were there. So I would say that was probably the biggest thing. So
Fuck yeah. Yeah, no, it's awesome. It
Fucking right, bud.
The thing that's similar of all of us too, of everything we said, even though very different, is that they're kind of all ongoing, right? Like you're in the middle of the recovery from the surgery. You're obviously not over the loss of somebody, that's not something that ever really happens. And mine isn't as serious as either of yours, but it's
Yeah,
not
you're just
something,
making jokes about black people.
it's not something, that's the name of the episode, but it's not something that is you just get over it. You do it once and you're like, oh, I'm good forever, So I think that's kind of for life. It's like you prove it to yourself every day that you can do it. And yeah, be grateful for the days that are good because they're not all, but it's a good day to be alive and it's a good day to talk hockey with you boys. So this is a fun episode. And yeah, thank you to everybody who's potentially listening.
This is just becoming a therapy session, dude. It's like no one's listening. If you're listening and you're at this point, send us a DM of something. What should we have them send?
I know
Just
for
like
real.
I listened to this point.
Yeah, just say like,
We need a code word.
yeah, we should get it something like that. Maybe pineapple.
I like it. Pineapple.
Yeah, I got some pineapple right here. That's the first thing that came to my head. So
DM us pineapple. You might get a little treat. Mike will do stand up for you.
maybe we'll send you a hat. Fuck it. If you're actually at this point, we'll send us a pineapple emoji and um if there's like one person who does it, we'll send you a hat. If not, we'll at least say thank you. We'll give you a shout out. But all right, boys, this was good. Thanks for listening. If you exist, definitely see a therapist. But love you boys, and we'll talk to you and see you next week.
Peace.